Hi, we are coming to you from the Roar Room at Penn State. We are here today to talk about pathways to engineering at Penn State. My name is Yael Nemeth. I am a student studying biological engineering with a minor in food systems. So BE is a major that is a collaboration between College of Engineering and the College of Agricultural Sciences. And I grew up in Washington, D.C.
Hi, my name is Sofia Hoffman. I'm a fourth-year student studying environmental systems engineering in the College of Earth and Mineral Science, but I am heavily involved with the College of Engineering, and I have a certificate in international engineering, and most of my research and clubs come from the College of Engineering. And I'm from Worcester, Massachusetts.
My name is Bernie Elizondo. I'm a fourth year studying energy engineering. I have a minor in environmental engineering, and that is in the College of Earth and Mineral Sciences, with the minor being in the College of Engineering. So I have a little bit of access to both. And I grew up in San Antonio, Texas.
Cool. So, Sophia, you mentioned research experience. What did that look like for you?
Yeah, I'm a part of a program at Penn State, which is kind of what brought me to Penn State, called the Millennium Scholars Program. And our big goal is to help multicultural and just a diverse group of students get into PhD programs and postgrad plans. So for my freshman year, I joined a lab with Dr. Rachel Brennan, who actually now works at Colorado State University, so she's not here anymore. But we are working with indigenous communities in the Ecuadorian Amazon and looking at oil contamination and like PFAS and total petroleum hydrocarbons to kind of see like how they're impacting this indigenous community. So I got to actually live in Ecuador in the Amazon for 2 months, which was an incredible opportunity. And I now collaborate with a professor in College of Earth and Mineral Science, Dr. Belén Noroña. She's in geography. So it's kind of a interdisciplinary research with engineering and geography. But I heard you also have some international experience.
Yes. So I got to participate in a program called HESI, which is the Humanitarian Engineering and Social Entrepreneurship Program. It is a class that is a year-long program, so it's a fall semester, a spring semester, and then a May semester. And it's about half students from the Smeal College of Business and half students from the College of Engineering, and then a couple of people from other colleges. And you are split up into teams, and you are working on a venture to help underserved Kenyan communities. And the May Master is based in Kisumu, Kenya. So I had the really great experience. I did it a little out of order. I did the spring semester, the May Master, and then the fall. So my first semester, I was working on a venture helping rice farmers there was a lot of issues with their crops being decimated by a certain species of bird that is native to the region. And we were working on a solution for that, both like the technical engineering skills as well as like what a business plan would look like, because ultimately the goal for these ventures is to pass them off to stakeholders who are in Kenya who could run these as a viable business. So that was a really, really interesting class because I learned a ton about business management, like what the economic considerations are for something instead of just like the pure engineering, like if we build something, what is it going to look like? That was super fun. And then we got to go to Kenya and meet all of these rice farmers and see their farms, and getting to be in that environment was a really great experience that made me understand how important the work we were doing was.
Super interesting. I feel like that's something that you don't get in the specifically only being in one college. I think interdisciplinary work is like super beneficial to everyone.
Yeah.
Like working with mechanical engineers for my capstone project, it's like getting a different view of like the same problem. And I think that's been such a like vital part about why like Penn State engineering is so diverse, and it's so helpful, I think, to everyone involved.
Yeah. What do you think the difference is between like your viewpoint and like the average mechanical engineering viewpoint might be? Like, how has that helped your capstone?
So I think one of the most beneficial parts about working with the College of Engineering, specifically mechanical engineers, is that I assumed a lot of engineers just went super far into chemistry as a whole. And that was something that was a shock to me, that mechanical engineers only really hit Chem 1, and that's maybe Chem 2, I think. Like my major specifically goes into organic chemistry, and that was something that we've looked into. We're looking at a water treatment facility. And so I was, me and the other energy engineer are bouncing ideas off of each other when we're looking at water treatment, and they're kind of like, we don't really know. But then when it came to like piping and stuff like that. They were super good with working with fluids, which we've had a class in fluids, and that was, it was great. But they've had a more focus on it, and they've had a more in-depth look at how fluids react with each other. And so we've been able to bounce ideas off of each other and work together really well. And I think that's been one of the greatest things is we got to know more about the other major through actual experience. I think it's been great so far.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
I feel like capstone is such an interesting experience because like this is my first time like working with people in my major like on such a specific problem that like we have been asked to solve instead of just like here's your coursework, like here's the math you have to do.
Yeah.
So I know for most engineering disciplines within like the College of Engineering, College of Ag, and the College of EMS, capstone is the senior project. So basically it can either be, I'm pretty sure most programs is just one semester, and you're matched with a group, and it's usually very interdisciplinary. For the environmental program, it's not. It's actually only people in your major, which I would have loved to like learn from other different disciplines. But you have 6 months, and you're given a project, or one semester, and you have to just find a solution. And it's been interesting. I agree. It's difficult when you're like finally given a project and no kind of regulations, just been like figure it out.
Yeah. No, my capstone has actually been, it's 2 semesters, which is, I think it's us and aerospace are the only ones who do that. But that has been getting a little frustrating at this point because we have to physically prototype something, which is where things start to fall apart. But it's also a great exercise in engineering of like, okay, this is going wrong. What do we do now? This is going wrong. What do we do now? And like actually using those problem solving skills.
Yeah, it's been really beneficial. And I don't know about y'all, but mine specifically I'm working with a Constellation Energy. And so working with a company, getting to talk to people that have been in the field for 20 plus years has been super beneficial. And I think that's always been like something that I wanted to do. It's nice that it's building up and it's like a final hurrah type of event. I wish it would have happened earlier just because I think this like experience has been so crucial to like understanding how engineers are actually working in the real world, whether it be frustrating, whether it be, you finally break through. I think all these specific emotions are super great to feel. And I think feeling them in college prepares you for the real world.
Yeah.
But it also, I wish it would have happened earlier. I wish I would have had the 2 semester one because you get to really throw yourself in there and learn everything.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I feel like for a lot of like students, when you get that like interdisciplinary research, like if you're working in a research lab, you kind of have your project, you have your PI, and it's like very set of like, this is what I'm doing. And like finally being in an environment where it's almost research and almost classes, but you're actually getting input from so many different areas, you can like actually see the change. And I agree with Bernie. I wish we could do it a little earlier or just like for a longer period of time to really get that experience.
Yeah, I think both of those would be like it almost feels like I know we're getting to the end of it and it's like less than a month left, which is a little scary. But it's getting to that point where it's like I wish I had more time because I have a ton of questions that I still want answered, but I'm just gonna have to go make an engineering assumption. And I know y'all have probably heard that a million times. Make an engineering assumption, and it's just like I can never I want to stay into the field and get involved with it more. But
yeah. Have you guys had any internship or work experience?
Yeah, I'll if you want to.
No, you go.
Yeah. I've had 2 internships. I spent both of them with Valero down in Texas. I spent the first one as an environmental and health engineer at their headquarters, which was really interesting. I learned a lot of experiences. I was really young, still hadn't really delved into my engineering classes, and that gave me like a kind of like a boost, like a head start to understanding engineering. And then I spent a second summer with them as on their commercial trade floor. So it's a completely different sector, but they were still willing to bring me on. And I enjoyed it. I learned so much. I learned so much about the business side, as I knew a lot of the engineering and the refining stuff, but I never really got into the before the crude oil gets to the refinery and after the gasoline gets shipped out. Getting to learn all 3 facets of it was really interesting.
Cool. That's really cool. I kind of knew like as soon as I got to Penn State, I wanted to do a PhD, and like I'm very in the research realm. So I did my first research experience. It's called a REU, so Research Experience for Undergraduates. I did my first one at the University of Miami in the Coastal Infrastructure and Resilience program. So I got to work like on a project for the same period as an internship, but instead of like working with a company, you're working with a PI or a principal investigator, who is kind of like your boss. And then I went to the Amazon my second year, and my third year I did a program at Duke University in collaboration with UNC Chapel Hill. And it's called the Premier Program. And that one was really interesting because they take engineers and put them in life science labs, and then life scientists and put them in engineer labs. And they're kind of like, figure it out. We know you don't have that much background in it, but that was really interesting. And like, it gave me a lot of different, each project was very different. So I have a ton of different research experience and like research skills now that will help me as I like go forward for my PhD.
Cool. Yeah, the summer after my sophomore year, I was actually working in a lab on campus. It was not research. I was just a lab technician, but I think it's through Huck Life Science Institutes. There are a couple of different core facilities on campus that like have super specialized equipment for research labs to contract out and use, because like your lab is not going to purchase like $1 million bioreactor for just like a couple of experiments. So I worked in the fermentation facility, which is in the ag engineering building, just like making a lot of media and like preparing runs and like doing all of the upstream and downstream of the runs. And then this past summer, I got to intern at a kombucha brewery in Atlanta, Georgia. It was called Cultured South. And it was a tiny operation. So it was just me and the head brewer there every day. So I learned basically every single step of the process, because as soon as I saw it once or twice, my boss was like, okay,
good luck.
You try. And I was like, okay. So that was a lot of like doing quality tests for the kombucha. We were brewing fresh tea to pump into the tanks, transferring like the base kombucha culture into tanks to like flavor them and carbonate them, and then doing canning runs where I was in charge of the quality control for the weight. So I was just weighing every single can that came off the line.
Wow.
So it was a super interesting experience, but I think I'm glad that I had those two very different things as sort of like, these are different ways that like working in the real world can look like. And one of them was very much like, we had our lab coats and we had our gloves and we had our safety goggles, and like it was air conditioned and everything was like very, very organized and clean, because like it was research and like things have to be really, really organized for research versus like for commercial production. It was like, okay, we need to make this product. We need to get it out. Like, how are we going to do that in an efficient manner?
Yeah. That's super interesting. I thought I wanted to bounce back to Sophia on the, you worked with multiple universities. How was that process kind of like? Like, I've never been on the, both of y'all have more experience on the research and lab side. I've never even delved into that. How was that?
It was really scary at first because like as a first year student, you're applying for research and it's like, I've done my Chem 110 or Chem 111 lab. That's all I really know. But it's kind of just like an internship application, and more similarly like a grad school application where you have like your personal statement, you have letters of rec, and then you just basically write why you think like you should do this research and like why this research is important to you. So I know like a lot of programs, it kind of depends like what they're looking for. A lot of them, you know, they want these juniors and seniors who are going to be applying to grad school. So it's kind of like almost like a pre-interview. It's like, here's like a summer and you get to see like, would you want to come here? And like, would you actually enjoy it? But for me, my freshman year, I was kind of just like, I just want to do something interesting. I wanted to do something in Miami. I just thought it would be fun to be at that university. And I got to work at the beach all summer. So
that sounds like a great job.
It was a pretty nice job.
Great gig.
It was very intense. But yeah, it's basically just like an internship application. And it's great because a lot of, it's hard to get an internship your freshman year. Like it's hard when you have nothing on your resume to really be like, I deserve to work here. But with research, like they want to teach people how to do this, and like they want people that will continue to come back. So I found that it was like easier for first year students to find an REU instead of an internship.
Super interesting. I kind of just chalked it up and I was like, I'm not going to get an internship after my freshman year. And I didn't realize that there was a research option. I feel like that's something that I would have absolutely loved to do.
I just took physics too.
Yeah. So I took 3 classes over the summer. I was like, let me call it there. But
this will be productive.
I think it's great that like at Penn State though, each of the engineering options, at least in EMS, I know for sure, are so interdisciplinary that you can get a job or an internship or research in almost anything. Like they, in a way, it's like almost too broad at sometimes because I'm like, what am I gonna do next? But it's great to have so many different options and know that like I'm a little bit qualified for at least all of these and like can make an argument for why I could like get something done in this space.
No, I also agree like for BE, because it's this very collaborative major, we have these 3 different options that like sometimes we like to joke of like, why are they even together, of like agricultural engineering, food and bioprocess engineering, and then natural resources engineering. And like very different people are drawn to all of those things. So then like it makes all of your classes within the major super fun because like it is such a diverse group of people who all have like really different interests and really different goals, and like getting to sit together and be like, okay, how is heat transfer applicable to all of us, or like circuit design applicable to all of us, and like learning what everyone is going to use everything for, even when it seems like everyone is on these completely different paths, has been really interesting.
No,
That is super. That's interesting that they have to like kind of tie all 3 of those things back together into the core engineering principles, like heat transfer, fluids, mass, all that. Super interesting.
Yeah.
Are you guys involved with any like organizations outside of your major, or like even with like the College of Engineering, College of Ag, College of US?
Yeah, so I'm within my major, I am the president of the American Society of Agricultural and Biological Engineers, which is our professional society. It's super chill. We have meetings every other week where we'll bring in a speaker or talk about something related to the major. Like we did like a resume review and like LinkedIn update a couple weeks ago, or just like a chill craft night, like whatever it seems like people want to do. I am also involved in like trying to remember what clubs I do. I have done, I was really involved with the Penn State Student Farm for a while, and have done some cool volunteering opportunities through that, as well as Shavers Creek Outdoor School. Fully a plug for Shavers Creek. It is a 1-week program where you go teach 5th graders about nature, and like you live in this summer camp environment. And I did it last semester. I had a great time, and I'm going back next week to do that. But that was also like, it doesn't seem super connected to engineering, but like technical communication and like explaining a lot of these concepts that like I have been talking about at such a high level for so long, and being like, okay, like what does a 5th grader know about waterways and ecosystems, and like how can I explain that in a way that's going to be like interesting to a kid and make them be like, yeah, like this is something I should care about. This is something that's important.
Yeah.
It's been super fun. But yeah.
That's cool.
I am the president of the College of Earth and Mineral Sciences Student Council. I'm also the professional development chair for the Association of Energy Engineers. So it's like a professional club for my major. And it's been really interesting to see the 2 different dynamics of those 2 clubs. It's like with the student council, I get to talk to everyone in the college, and I'm like, I love being involved with the college, and that's super interesting to me. And then the professional side, I get to work with with alumni, but then that also goes into the Association of Energy Engineers. I get to work with alumni, professors, faculty, other students in the major, and you kind of worked with each other. And so my specific position is a professional development chair, and that is kind of like you were talking about, like bringing in speakers, having like resume building sessions, like kind of stuff like that. So that's basically my position, is helping people build their resumes up and get connections, and eventually, hopefully, either get a job or an internship. But yeah, so I love the different organizations that I'm a part of, and then you just get to mix them together. And like, I don't know, I think it's a really tight knit community, and I think being a leader in that community is super, super valuable. What about you, Sophia?
I was kind of looking for the same thing with like a tight knit community when I came to Penn State. Community was like super important to me, but I still wanted like that professional aspect. So I'm now president of the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. We're the largest Latino organization on campus with about 130 members. So we've had a big growth spurt this year. Yeah. But we're a social and professional organization. So every year we have a national conference where we take a lot of our members, and it's like a huge career fair. There's a lot of workshops. But we also do a lot of cultural things. So we have like an international director that will do like cooking nights. We'll do language swaps. So we have people who speak Portuguese, Spanish, and English. So we try to like combine all 3 languages and make sure everybody is like a professional with all 3 languages, because a lot of them will also look for like jobs within like South and Central America. And then we also do something called a step-up program, which is for 2+2 students. So basically, if you're a 2+2 student and you know you're coming to University Park next year, we invite you to come for a weekend, and we like cover housing and transportation, and you just kind of get to do like a design competition and hang out with people for a few days. So it's been really rewarding. I love the community part of it. We're such a like, we call it the Shep Familia, and we really are like a family. Like it's very tight knit. And then it kind of ties in with I'm also involved with the multicultural engineering program orientation. So we do a 5-day orientation the week before school starts, which is really fun to see like all the incoming students and like get to see like what they're excited about and what they want to gain. And then we do MEP nights, MEP Monday one Monday every month. We just gotta get to connect, and it's another way of like combining community and like a multicultural space within like an engineering space, and like just having that representation through professors and like companies. So just a little,
Yeah. I think finding community like within engineering and within Penn State is super important. I got to participate in WEPO, which is the Women in Engineering Program orientation, which is happening at the same time as MEPO. And I think like that was one of the biggest things that set me up for success at Penn State.
100%.
Just like coming in, like I already knew some people who were in my classes, and like I'd done these design challenges, and I like recognized a couple of upperclassmen, and like it just helped things be a little tiny bit less scary, like especially that first semester when you're like, where am I? How do I get to my classes? What's going on? And then also through the Women in Engineering program, I participated in my first year and then got to facilitate my second year study groups, which are small groups of female engineering students for like I think they have them for almost all of like the intro engineering classes, like things you need to declare a major. And I facilitated a group for Math 251, which is differential equations. And that was a really rewarding experience, being able to like see students who are struggling with a concept then leave with like renewed confidence in themselves and their abilities, because like, especially with the College of Engineering being so big, like, I don't know, like you want your people to succeed, and like it's really great being able to have that community.
It's nice to have the connection also like across the 4, I guess, grades, like getting to see like first year students and like watching them grow is like so rewarding to see like, wow, like I knew you before you even got here, and now it's like watching you get your first internship and like seeing everything. So I'm sure it's like so rewarding to like see them also in a class space where you know that they're gonna do well. Yeah.
And then also as a first year, like if you make friends with upperclassmen, like I have some friends who I made like through my major, through ASABE or through WEPO, and like seeing those people now go on and like have successful engineering careers is really, really nice to be like, okay, they can do it, I can do it. Like it's not that big and scary.
MEPO and WEPO, that's like the week before.
Yeah.
Okay. Because EMS has their own version of it. It's called TEAMS, like Total Engagement of the College of Earth and Mineral Sciences. And it's very similar to those. I know it's like those two, I think Aurora and I'm pretty sure that's the name. And then TEAMS are like the ones like the week before classes.
Yeah. I think the Blue Band's also there.
Yeah, I think there's like a bunch of random like stuff like that. And I think those are like what really give people a lot of step up. And I think engineering as a whole, like having MEPO and WEPO, and then EMS having a decent chunk of engineers also be involved in it, I think it's such a beneficial process. Like you mentioned it, like having a somewhat like stable group before classes start is super beneficial. On top of that, getting to talk to alumni, professors, upperclassmen, I think those connections that you make at those events, like the week-long events, they don't seem long, and it does seem like it's pretty daunting. I remember when I signed up and I was like, I'm leaving all my friends from home a week early for what? Like camping? Like I'm going to go hang out with people I don't really know. And I ended up going 4 years straight. So I went my freshman year and then I did 3 years as a mentor. So I clearly liked it. And I think that decision is what shaped me to be successful here. And I think those events, those small opportunities that don't seem super like important, super critical, are really what define your Penn State experience, especially in engineering.
I feel like
Yeah.
it's all about making a big school small,
Yeah,
finding
absolutely.
your niche and finding your community. And once you have that anchor, then it's sort of like a home base that you can go explore different things.
100%.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the people who do like MEPO and WEPO during the summer. There's also like a ton of random programs, but I did Millennium Summer Bridge, so you were there for 6 weeks during the summer taking classes. But we also collaborated a lot with like Engineering Summer Bridge and the LEAP program. And I had the same thing of like, I'm gonna spend my last summer going to school like extra. Like, why would I do this? But you like get to meet so many more people, and then those are the same people that end up doing like MEPO, WEPO teams. So that's just like another level of like, I didn't even know about the LEAP program and how like you basically skip a ton of like the first year classes and just go into your second semester, which that would have been really cool to know about when I was coming in and getting that like really one-on-one attention, since there's like only a few students who really do that.
Yeah. I think like you were talking about Step Up. EMS has their own event that happened that same weekend. It's called EMAX, and it was like parents were asking me like, my kid got sent to the summer program. And I'm like, I know it seems like, oh my, I'm gonna have to send my kid up early. Like they're gonna miss out on their last summer. That opportunity, I know of. I didn't get the opportunity to do that, but like I know a lot of people that did, and that taking those 2-3 classes might not seem like a lot, but it's more so the experience of being on campus and getting to talk to other people that are going through similar experiences as you. I think that process was like, it seems like a negative, but it really is a positive, and it really is something that a lot of students can benefit from. So I think any opportunity that you can get to spend more time on campus, more time with people in the community, I think it's a positive. It's a go.
Yeah.
So.
I feel like the first 2 years, for me at least, honestly, those felt the hardest, just because you have to acclimate to what being in college is like, and any support along the way was so needed. And then getting into my major, and also my major is super, super tiny. There are 9 of us graduating
Wow.
this spring.
I thought we were small.
Yeah. And once you get into your major, and having all of the faculty there who most of my professors, I've taken multiple classes with them, and or they're my advisor, or are helping out with capstone, or something super important. And in our department, in the ag engineering building, everyone's door is always open, which is really nice. And you can just go talk to whoever you need to talk to, and they really want us to succeed, which is nice, because sometimes I think especially sophomore year engineering, you're taking these engineering mechanics classes, you're taking these physics classes, you're taking orgo, and it's oh my God, how am I going to survive all of this? And then you get to the next year, and they're oh, how can we help you? How can we do all this for you? And you're oh my gosh, hi.
Yeah, when professors start recognizing your faces, that's when it gets I had one of my professors this semester. He was it's a 499 class, so it's a special or 497, so it's a special topics class, and he's y'all are graduating, right? And we were yeah, and he was all right, I'll be at graduation then. I was that's it's moments like that. I'm oh man, that's so sweet. Where it's
nice.
He does care about us, and he does the way he's taught his classes has definitely changed from the first time I took it to the second and third time I've taken a class of his. So I think that's super interesting though. But
do you guys feel what the coolest class at Penn State that you've taken is?
I took a walking class.
Awesome.
I enjoyed that one. I was a sophomore, and I spent most of my time talking to a senior aerospace engineer in a 5th year who was doing a double major with physics and material science. And it's
oh my gosh,
I'm talking to these people, and we're just walking. And it's I got credit, and I got an A in the class, so not to brag. But I got credit for a class, and all I did was walk and talk to people and network. So
yeah,
really nice. I feel so my coolest class I feel I took undergrad was actually not at Penn State. I did a study abroad, but Penn State helped me get there, so I'm gonna say I'll credit Penn State for that. But I studied abroad for 6 months my sophomore year at the National University of Singapore, and I took a class about the biophysical environment of Singapore, and I was so scared because I was what is this? But it was actually 2 professors who taught about culture, geography, engineering, and it was everything in one class. It was so cool to go to a new place and experience it and get to do all the things, but also have a class that teaches you everything about how it physically is here, and also the culture and how it's changed. So I think that was one of my favorite classes, and it was recommended to me by an alumni who like had done that same study abroad. So
Nice.
that was really cool.
Yeah, I got my sophomore year, I got to take a mushroom cultivation class, which BE is really nice because they let you do, they're very nice with petitions for all of your technical electives. So this was something that like I knew would count for my minor, and I was like, this is so cool. I want to take this. And we learned all about how you grow mushrooms, which I had no clue how to do. There's a lot of compost involved. And we got to tour the mushroom demonstration facility, which is on campus. It's like up near the dairy barns. But that was also where I learned like Penn State is a leading researcher in mushroom science because Pennsylvania produces 64% of the United States mushrooms. And like,
wow, I
had no idea.
Yeah, any cutting edge mushroom research is being done here. But that was just like so fun. And I was like, this is super random. And then I was like, wait, this is actually like food processing and agriculture. And then like I learned some professors in my department are like doing mushroom research. I was like, wow, it's all connected.
No, that's super cool.
Y'all went the major way. So I guess I'll go into one of my classes that actually pertains to what I was studying. It's a solar energy conversion course. And basically it's split up into like two parts. You have like a normal class, you're learning about solar panels and solar energy as a whole and how it's impacting the energy market today. And then the other half is you work with a sponsor, similar to how the capstone works, but you're working with the sponsor to see if solar panels can be installed at this place. So for my specific sponsor was the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection. And so we worked with Whipple Dam State Park, which is about 30 minutes from here. And we were looking at potentially adding solar panels to their outhouses and like their overheads. And they were looking at if it's a viable option. And we ended up presenting it to them. And truthfully, it wasn't a viable option. But they still wanted to go through with it to showcase that they are behind solar, they are backing solar. Mm-hmm. So they had like a little installment that was there that was like a little letter, and that was just like, this is a solar panel. It's creating energy using the natural rays of the earth or of the sun. And so I think it's like things like that where it's like you're getting to talk to organizations and see like their reasoning. Like some of the other groups had like we're working with school districts, we're working with police departments. Someone was working with like the city hall of somewhere, I think it was Lancaster or something like that, where it was like, wow, they were like working with like a real organization and like that's real group. So
was that, sorry. Was that what Dr. Jade?
Yeah, Dr. Jade.
He's one of my favorite professors at this university. He's incredible.
He's great. You only had him for thermo?
I only had him for one class, but he collaborates a lot with one of the professors I work with, and like he's just such an infectious like person. Like he cares so like much about his students, and I'm so grateful for him because if not, I would not have understood thermo at all.
Oh my gosh, yeah, he's phenomenal with that, and I think that class specifically, like the solar class, it was like he was so into it. He would bring in he'd just be like, oh, one of my friends who's in solar, he wants to come and talk, and he would just bring them in, and they just like talk about it.
Yeah, he was my friend's master's thesis advisor.
Really? That's awesome.
And I remember I like went to her presentation afterwards he was like chatting with all of us who showed up and was like, oh, like
so sweet.
What are you guys studying? Like
the way he teaches like makes like learning fun.
Yeah.
Like, it was really something special. He has like a saying where it's like learning is the training of your mind to think or something.
Yes.
Like that.
Yeah.
And he always says it, and I'm blanking on it now, but
I feel like the opportunities to like connect with the community, like the state college community, the Pennsylvania community, is part of what makes Penn State so special because like you're at this huge school and also like you're very much in a place, and like getting to sort of get out of the university bubble is like something there's been a lot of opportunities for, and something every time I'm like, wow, they do this. That's great. Like,
and I think Pennsylvania, like as a state, there is a lot of like backing to it. Like there is a lot of support coming from government officials that want to increase, like not just at Penn State specifically, but like other universities where we're all getting like backed by the government, where there's no like, I don't want to say hate, but like there's no like wanting to diminish the education. They want education to flourish. Yeah, and I feel like that's something that Pennsylvania. I don't want to say it's unique, but I think it's definitely something that we take for granted here.
Yeah. No, recently I got to attend this discussion that was like a collaboration between the College of Agricultural Sciences and the European Union. And it was just talking about like what, like the future of agriculture and like agriculture in the United States versus Europe. But I think Penn State was actually like their first stop on this like tour almost of the United States, because like this is an important place for agriculture. And like there were people from here who were working from Extension, and like they had some government officials come in, and that was a really cool thing to see and be like, oh, people care about it. Like,
yeah. And I think that like reflects in the students here as well. Like there's so many opportunities to do outreach for like high school and like K through 12 programs. I know at least like with SHEP, I've had the opportunity, and there's also a program in the College of Engineering called Engineering Ambassadors, where you get to like go to a high school and like do science demonstrations, and kind of what you were talking about with Shavers Creek of like, how do I make this actually interesting and like something that like a kindergartner but also a high school student would find interesting. And I think because like the university puts so much energy into making sure like their students want to, like they give back to their students, the students in turn give back, and that's also just been very rewarding to see like how can I encourage this student to like apply here and know that like engineering is something that they can do and not like this scary thing. I think when I was applying for engineering, I was like, how am I going to do this? Like there's no engineers in my family. So it was like, it's nice to be able to be that person to younger people as well.
Yeah.
I think like because Penn State has made engineering so interesting to me, then I'm like, oh, I want to share that and I want to talk about that. And like, I have all of this information that I can pass on, and like I want to, and I'm not just like, oh, whatever. Like, it's actually something I think is super cool.
Yeah, I think engineering before I came here was like, oh, that is like the hardest major you can choose, and like you're gonna be in the books 24/7. You're gonna be studying. If your grades are gonna be the only thing that determines if you're happy or not. After a year on campus, not even a year, maybe a semester, I was like, oh my gosh, I have so much to do. Like I want to be doing all these things, and I really think that the engineering, like being an engineer, is just like being a problem solver, and I think that's it. I don't think you really need anything else. You just want to, you notice a problem and you want to solve it, and I think that's something that's so curated here, where it's like, it's not limited to like math and stuff like that. You can involve it into your community, and I think that's something that's touched up on here a lot, and I think that's something it's definitely changed since I got here, like my thought process on that.
That was like perfectly said.
Yeah. I feel like I'm graduating this semester and I'm excited to be an engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not like there's no like, oh, I'm scared. I'm excited. I'm super excited just to get out there and make a difference.
Yeah.
As corny as it sounds, like it is to like make the difference that you want to see.
Yeah. Apply your skills.
Yeah. How easy was it for y'all to get into your leadership positions? I know we're all presidents of our own organizations, but
yeah, I think for me it was not difficult. Again, like it's such a small major that just like last year I really made an effort to like show up, go to club meetings, and like talk to the seniors who were in leadership. And then like it was time for their elections, and there were like a couple of us who were like maybe interested in doing leadership, and they were like, hey, like I think you'd be a really good fit for this. You should run for president. And I said, okay. And then I ran and I got it. But yeah, sort of the benefit of like a smaller major is like it was a little less competitive than I think maybe your race was.
SHEP's really interesting because I think it's weird. Like I was saying, we were a family. It's very close knit. But a huge part of getting involved with leadership was just like the mentors I had, and a lot of that was built during the summer before I even got here. But just having mentors who like invested in me and like my leadership skills, but also my academics, it made it seem like so possible. Like they showed me like this is what your expectations would be. Like this is how much of a time commitment would it be, and they didn't make it a scary thing. So like I've been involved with SHEP since my freshman year, and like each year I kind of just like leveled up, and I guess that's kind of how I got to where I was. But I think with MEPO, there's so many different positions. Like we have a design team who does all the design activities. We have an activities team who does all the activities for the whole week. We have a technical team if you're interested in like doing videos. And then we have a whole team of mentors. So it's like you literally, like whatever your interest is, you can do it. And they want people to be a part of the community. So I think it's like as soon as applications are open, like people know that like I'm just doing, like what role, I guess, is the best fit for me, not like, is this an opportunity for me?
Yeah. I think, I can back basically do the same
Yeah.
thing with the student council. I kind of came in for my first year and I was kind of like a little wary. I was like, I don't know where I fit here. And then I applied as a chairperson, got it, did a year as a chairperson, moved on to the executive board, and then moved just up the ladder, and I made my way up. And I was like, okay, like I got here like through baby steps, and it somehow got me to the top of the mountain. And I was like, oh my gosh. But I think it's very accessible to get some sort of leadership position. And I got sold onto it because they were like, well, you're a first year, you don't really have much on your resume. Like, if you want to have something on there, like, definitely apply. And I was like, well, I'm here to get a job probably at the end of my 4 years. And so I was like, let me start my resume now. And so just building that resume early on was super beneficial. And I think that was what really sold me, was like, oh, it's what sold me, but it wasn't what made me stay. It was like, I wanted to keep coming back. And I think that was like one thing that definitely I think is unique. And like us being in a smaller college, smaller major, you have more opportunities to get these leadership positions. So
I guess on that note, how, like, now that we're all graduating, how do you feel like that has Penn State set you up to achieve your career goals? And like, are you leaving Penn State feeling like you got everything out of it?
I think so. I think, like, I was visiting home recently, and my parents were like, oh, like, do you have any regrets about, like, your time at Penn State? Like, are there things you wish you did and you didn't? I was thinking about it, and, like, I think, like, there's obviously things I wish I would have done, but, like, I packed my time so full and, like, put in every single thing that I could, and, like, I have been able to do so many different things here that, like, all of those activities and leadership and jobs and volunteering, like, have all set me up to be not just an engineer, but like a well-rounded engineer. And I think I'm excited to take those skills into the workplace after graduation.
Yeah, I don't know if like regret is the right word, but it's definitely, I wish I would have explored a little bit more. I think specifically Thon. I think Thon is such a special like event here that we have that like no other college has, no other university can say that they do. I think I wish I would have spent more time doing that. But I don't view that as like a regret. I view that as like the reason why I'm saying that is because I got to witness the time that I had with it. So it's like, do I wish I did more? Yes. Do I regret not doing not doing more? No. Like, I don't regret anything, but I wish if I would have done things differently, I probably would have changed a couple things here and there. But I think outside of that, there was nothing really else that I wanted to look into more. But it was also, as you said, like, my schedule's jam-packed. Like, if I wanted to do it, like, it would have made my schedule really, really, like, to the brim. So,
I would say the same. I feel like one of my mentors told me, like, when I first got here, to just say yes to everything, even if I thought I would hate it. And I think I tried to do that over the last 4 years. And now, like, going into my PhD program, and I feel like I have so many different experiences and, like, life skills that Penn State gave me. So I'm definitely sad I'm leaving, but also very ready to go and, like, move on to the next thing.
Yeah. So you were saying, like,
Okay.
You were saying your mentor told you, like, when you were a freshman, like, try out everything. Do you guys have any advice for incoming first-year students?
I would really echo that advice.
Yeah,
I think it, like, helped me so much to be, like, I was not afraid of anything. Like, I was just like, might as well try, and, like, worst comes worst, if I don't like it, I do something else. I would also say that your first year, it can be, like, so daunting and scary, and we all kind of mentioned it, but, like, building that strong community your first year will set you up for success. You can't be an engineer alone. Like, it's all teamwork and team building. So if you have your team, and if you know, like, I have friends in my classes and I have friends outside of my classes, and, like, these are the people that I know I can rely on, you're set for success.
Yeah. I was going to say the exact same thing, but just to not copy Sophia on this one, I guess, like, 4 years is not that long. Like, I know we all kind of, it's cliche, like, oh, it'll fly by. And my freshman year when I first stepped foot, people were telling me, like, time flies. I'm like, yeah, right. Like, I have 4 years here. That's, like, a ton of time. And then now I'm looking back and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, everything flew by. 4 years is not that long. Make the most of what you can. Say yes to everything. Try new things. Go to that new spot. Like, do everything that you can. Take that one random class that you have no reason taking. Like, do the things that you can, because you're only here for 4 years, or projected 4 years. But it's like, it's not that long, and you should definitely be taking the classes that you want to take, meet the people that you want to meet, and do the things that you want to do.
Yeah. Sort of echo that, and also say, like, don't feel confined by your major or like what you think an engineer is supposed to do. Like, you can, like, if you really want to take a class, you think it's relevant, petition it to count. And like, there are so many cool opportunities here that like might not be listed as engineering, might not be listed as science, but like are so connected to those things and so relevant to those things. So just like, if something sounds cool, give it a try. Like, maybe it can go on your resume, maybe not. Like, it's always going to be a good experience to have, whether it was something helpful or it's something to laugh about. Like, you can say like, oh my gosh, I did this crazy thing for a semester, or like it can turn into something that you do for all 4 years and like impact how you want to live your life.
I forgot one thing. I'm so sorry. I feel like this is like the one time in your life where you can just go somewhere else in the world and like still do classes, and it's not going to mess up your timeline or anything. Penn State has so many study abroad opportunities, whether it's a whole semester, a whole year, or just like a few weeks in May. I have told all of like my mentees, like, please find a study abroad program that speaks to you. It doesn't even have to be like in engineering. It can be like, I know so many people take like their English class in Italy. Go do that. Go do an international experience while you can, and like experience the world. There's so many scholarships Penn State has to help support it, and it can be very daunting to be like, how am I going to finance this? Penn State like will help you find a way to finance this and like get to experience that. So my last piece of advice is like do something international.
They also do like the spring break ones, the green program.
Yeah.
I think they just went to Belize like a couple weeks back, and so there's opportunities everywhere. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Sofia and Bernie, for coming today and having a really good conversation. We are
Penn State.